Welcome back to Big Boy. So, Eylau from Sound of Drums Games finished term one. Lots of activity, lots of interesting things happening, a lot of learning. There have been some modest changes to the rules. I'm working on the 1.4 rules, new charts and tables that you need to download and use, because the others, there's a couple of errors in them and there's some information that's missing, and I think that's valuable for you to do that. Number one. Number two, 1.4 I would have thought would sort of clean up the big issues or the big items, and some of them are issues, but that's not the case. There's still a couple of things that need work, and I think I don't know, I can't really talk about the development process and who did what when and how it all came together and all that sort of stuff, because I don't know. I have been in touch with the owner, designer, whatever we want to call him, Uwe, and he's very, very passionate about the system, number one, very passionate about his company, and very passionate about getting it right. So I think as this game system evolves, it will get a lot better. I think, once again, it's a communication issue. I think there was excuse me, I'm runny nose. I think there was a communication issue in terms of the lack of responsiveness on BGG. I'm not sure that he spends a lot of time on there. Then we got a second language thing going on. So he needs to find a couple of guys, which I think he has found, that I've been corresponding with, at least one of them, Mark, and have them kind of step in and then be the go-between or whatever the case may be. So all that said, I'm only one turn into the campaign game, the battle game. I did play a smaller scenario way back when I got a demo copy of the game. And in fact, I need to find that demo copy, or did I give it away? I don't even know what happened to it. It may have got misplaced. Nevertheless, what was I saying? Right. So this is playing somewhat differently now that we're using the command and fatigue rules. It really is. This is where the meat and the juice of the game is going to be. It's not going to be in this, how many times do I roll? And I'm taking the piss a little bit here, so don't get aggravated if you're a Labatai fan. But how many times am I going to be rolling to do my closing and then closing fire and all that, down at that battalion level? There's not that level of detail here, right? You've got a much more simplified firing system. There's very little accommodation for like firing upslope or downslope, for instance. I don't believe that is that on the new chart? No. So those types of things are not going to have an impact. So it's much more abstract, and there have also been rules added, I think, to give more Napoleonic flavor as conversations have evolved with customers, which I think is great, right? Taking customer feedback and what do you want, right? Because at the other end of the spectrum, we've got the Hexasim system, the Rising Eagles system, which is also quite abstract and a lot of fun, right? I enjoyed that system a lot, also because it had a somewhat unique take on command and who was going where, and you didn't know the opponent didn't know what your orders were, all that sort of fun stuff. So let's jump over to what I think is the meat of this game, and this will just kind of help you decide whether or not you want to play it at all. And of course, I am not playing this 100% correctly. You don't put these cubes on the map, first of all, right? So I'll show you what you actually do, or what you're supposed to do, or at least what I think you're supposed to do, and we'll kind of go for it from there. And so beautiful game. There's no question about it. I love this winter map. It's gorgeous. I do have to play the other NES, New England Systems, whatever they're called, game, but just looking at those rules was pretty daunting. It's the Wellington's Victory system, so that's been highly modified. All right, so let's have a quick chat about this this little table here, and we'll use just this one. I've got the Russian one below it. These black cubes represent 10 army fatigue points. The gray ones represent 1 fatigue point. Each command that you want to give, let me just make a note so I don't lose track of this guy. Every command you want to give to a formation, so a move command or a, what does that say? A hold command or an attack command or a strategic move command or a defend command or a hold. What did I say? Hold already. What else is there? Oh, recover, et cetera, et cetera. So they all have a number of IPs or initiative points that they're going to give you, and it's going to cost you a fatigue point, right? So that's interesting in of itself, in that you have a finite number of army fatigue points. The only way you get more is if you capture VP locations on the map, and let's say a little town or a location, a hill or a farm or whatever is worth 5. You're going to pull, there's a bucket somewhere I have here, you're going to pull, these are leftovers, I think. These need to go in the other bag. But you're going to grab 5 and go, okay, I got them now. Because so it represents that intangible type of subtlety where, the army rushes up, captures something, and everyone goes, hurrah, and they're all invigorated. So, hey, let's go get some more, right? So versus when you lose a position or a location, you're going to have that opposite effect. You're like, oh my God, we're all going to die. So you're going to lose fatigue points if you take it away from the enemy, right? You're going to take their fatigue points and add them to your pool. All right, so I'm spending fatigue to activate. I can only activate as many as the clock, the turn track allows me, plus a d6, plus my leader's value, right? So now we got a little bit of a variable thing going on about how many I can activate, and then how many initiative points do I want to try and get so that I'm the guy that starts first or has initiative. Do I want that or not? And how many fatigue points do I want to spend to achieve my objective? So there's one level of thinking that we're going to need to do. The second and probably even more important thing that we're going to need to do is, you can see that this is down on its second activation here. So the 1st Division of the 4th Corps of the French is on its second activation. Now, second activation, you're going to lose a movement point. You're going to lose 2 movement points for cavalry, and it's just representing, hey, over this period of time. What's the time? I think it's an hour. 20-minute turns. I can't remember. Where is the freaking clock? It's hour-long turns, right? So you're moving multiple times, but we're drawing. Where are they? We're drawing chits. So we put all these commands out, and for every command I have, there's a chit goes in a bucket, a cube goes in a bucket, plus the 2 fire commands, right? And we shake that sucker around and we pull one out. But I've only got whatever that 1d6 plus the leader plus the time, whatever that is. So let's call it 10. I've only got 10, so I can only put 10 cubes in, 10 of these. If I want to move this guy twice, someone else is not doing something, right? Now, the good news is, because I've got defense and I potentially could have holds elsewhere, right? I can when I pull a blue cube out of the cup, and I know that hey, I really want to do this strap move. I want to go one more time. I'm going to do it. I'm going to move this guy down, and that means that maybe this guy won't get to move again, or this guy won't get to move at all. So there's the next level of thinking, and that may also enable you to be a little more reactionary as well. So not only are you having to consider the thoughts or consider the situation that you're faced with and what is your enemy doing, but how many orders do I need to have out on the table to do what I want to do, but then also to manage what the enemy does if they do something that I don't expect them to do. And so I've got to play I've got to spend my fatigue points to get these orders on the table so I get enough cubes in the bucket so when one of mine is pulled, I will get to have my activation and potentially do a second or even a third activation. You know, third activation, I'm losing 2 movement points for the infantry, so they can only move 2. Most of them, if they're in line, have 4 movement points or 5. In fact, the French. Yeah, French are 4 and 5, and I think no, Russians are 4 or 5 as well. All right, so there's that. So to me, this is the guts of the game right here. It's what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? How am I going to manage my fatigue level? Once it gets to 0, you're dead. You're done. You're finished. Right. The only other way you get like an auto victory is if Napoleon ends up getting cocked in the battle. Right. So to me, this is the game. And then whatever happens over here, you know, on the battlefield, sure, that's great. There's fire combat, there's assaults, there's charges, there's some counter charge rules now. You know, with an hour-long turn, and I'm gonna have to look at the scale again because I can't remember the hex scale. It's either 125 or 150. I may not have actually printed this out. Stand by. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, here it is. 150 meters of actual terrain. Each strength point is 100 dudes, 50 cap. The kind of standard thing. But the difference is that time-wise, it's 60 minutes versus 20, right? So, you know, if you're playing Nez or La Bataille, you're running 20-minute turns, but you're in this game, you're potentially doing multiple activations in a turn, up to 3, and that's called, you know, each activation 20 minutes. So that's where you're going to get that movement and that you know, who's being accelerated into the fight, who's being moved up to support, and all the rest of it. So very interesting. Now, as I said, I was going to show you how to do this. All right. So the way they do it in the rules is, I just grabbed a couple of these. So for these guys here, so he's got a command here that stays there. I put a block down. I put another block down. And then I put a third block down if I've got a third activation. Seems kind of pointless to me. I don't get this. If it was me, well, shouldn't say that. How would I want to rephrase that? I just move this down, right? So that I know what my order is. I know whose order it is. I just move it down. I know where the dude's at, and I know how tired or how many movement points he's going to get. So that saves some stuff. And this army fatigue thing, why not just why not maybe simpler, less space, less bits, less expensive to make, but certainly more tactile. I get that. Wouldn't it be nifty just have a track with a counter that says 100 and tens and units? Boom, done, right? That'd make life a lot simpler. And we wouldn't need you don't need all these blocks and bits and pieces on the map, on the table. Takes up more space. So look, you know, from a space perspective, that's kind of what we're doing. Plus, you know, you've got your setup doohickeys, you know, your order of battle stuff over there. I put the Russian one away because they only have 1 reinforcement coming on, and whoops, and we know what turn that's going to be. These guys activated twice down here in the corner. They're cavalry. Yeah, and everyone, you know, we're playing the edge game here, I guess. So they're trying to close off this edge. I'm trying to bring 2 first and second cavalry divisions, or dragoons, or whatever they're called. They've got a name. They're trying to come around the flank as well, and I'm pressing up with 2 divisions of infantry here, and we'll see what happens, right? So fun times. All right, anyway, so look, what do I need to say in terms of qualifying? So we're deep in it. We're having fun. I do need to let you know that I did order my own copy, but I also received an upgraded copy, a complimentary. I believe that there's still work that needs to be done on the rules. I don't know that you know, this game is probably just not as polished as it could be. It is certainly one of the most elegant looking Napoleonic war games I've played in a long time. A winter battle is very hard to do a map for, so I'll be curious to see with the next title, which is going to be Quatre Bras. I'll be curious to see how those maps look and what the style is for those maps, to see where this is going from a thematic standpoint, because that's a really big thing for any Napoleonics player, is the immersion with the maps. And we've all been very spoiled with Kevin Zucker's maps and other designers' maps. The Hexasim guys do great maps as well. A little glossy for me, but pretty nice. And of course, the La Bataille is the gold standard of hand-drawn maps, which are pretty fabulous in of themselves. All right, so who knows where this series will go, but I'm curious about it. I think it's a good, I'm not going to say entry level, but it is a consumable and approachable war game for war gamers, and potentially for newer war gamers. Don't buy this if it's your very, very first war game, because there's quite a few sort of assumptive things going on here, but some good notes as well that accompany stuff to explain rationales behind why things are the way they are and all that sort of good stuff. So anyway, I actually like the way morale and stand rolls work and retreats work and losses work and all the rest of it. All that's great. You can probably watch other people's videos to talk about that. Once I get more comfortable with the execution of those fire combats and assaults, I'll maybe do a little demo video of how it all comes together from the mechanics standpoint. But like I said, the meat and juice and gravy, boom, is all in that army fatigue system tied into the initiative and orders system is a lovely notion, and I like it a lot. All right, I'm going to roll, literally go roll dice right now. Talk to you guys soon. Have a great one.